Thank you so much for being part of the campaign. Well, I'm going to do a presentation on the objectives of the campaign, and they go as follows. The hashtag ElectAYoungWoman campaign, it's all about mobilizing, organizing, preparing, and capacitating young women for leadership, be it different leadership position from local to national level. And the second one is to strengthen the capacity of young women to demand and access leadership and decision-making positions and opportunities. And the last one of the objective of the hashtag ElectAYoungWoman campaign, it's to address the pervasive stigma towards young women's fitness for leadership rooted in social norms, religious and traditional beliefs through norms, religious and traditional beliefs, improving public perception of young women as effective leaders and solution providers. Thank you so much.
Tamanzwa here my objectives edu. Is there anyone anokwanisa kundudza wani abata just nje? Ndompa gift personally. Zinasu, zikosu, any one objective? Nothing stood out? Yes. All right, thank you so much. Sorry, what's your name? And I have a very special gift for you after this. Please find me. All right, so you guys might be wondering, with these objectives, what led to them being formed in the first place? So I'm going to give you an introduction and background of the campaign. Our country has an 11-year-old constitution that makes clear provisions for gender equality in sections 17, 56, and 80. Unfortunately, these provisions are not being adhered to, and this has resulted in less than 5% of young women occupying leadership and decision-making positions at both local and national levels across the country. Young women are underrepresented in spaces where critical decisions are made on their behalf in both the private and public sector. And in politics, in the 2023 harmonized elections, we only saw 10% of women directly elected as MPs, and of those, only 2% are young women, even though the youth constitute the majority of the Zimbabwean population. At local level in council, we have 11% women who were directly elected as councillors, and only 2% are young women once again. And this can be traced to patriarchal attitudes, lack of willpower by political parties to engender their manifestos, gaps in the Electoral Act through non-alignment of the Constitution, and a volatile political environment that is marred by political violence against women, vote buying, and the lack of resources to freely and adequately campaign. Can we agree on this? Who says no? Who? I can't see you. Okay, let me finish. I'm coming for a debate. So, it is against this background that WALPE is launching the hashtag ElectAYoungWoman campaign, which is aimed at increasing the quality and numbers of young women who take up leadership positions at all levels. And under the campaign, promising young women will be capacitated to take up leadership positions as well as to demand and access leadership positions and opportunities. And our organization will be working with its network of women-led community-based organizations known as the WeCobs across the country to expand the campaign reach. And our target groups are young girls and women between the ages of 18 and 35 years who aspire to be elected or appointed to leadership and decision-making positions, such as school prefects, junior councillors and MPs, SRC members, private and public sector boards, churches, village and ward development committees, school development committees, health center committees, councillors, MPs and ministers. And we also plan to engage 6 million Zimbabweans through the campaign, directly and indirectly through a mix of physical and social media engagements to support youth leadership. Our project partners for this campaign are going to be Itemba for Girls Trust. Do we have a representative in the house? Can we please give a round of applause? Thank you. And then we have Girls Table Trust. They are in Matebeleland. Do we have Girls Table? Girls Table. And then we have Rural Young Women Support Network from Mashonaland West. And then finally, we have our beloved Bus Stop TV, who will be providing national media coverage. Bus Stop. And then finally, we have WALPE, the Women's Academy for Leadership and Political Excellence. So essentially what we want to do with this campaign is to increase the number and quality of young women participating in decision-making and taking up leadership positions. We want to see an increased number of young women with a better understanding of and sustained contribution to advancing gender equality reforms and improved population's awareness of and attitude towards the role of young women's leadership aptitude, because attitude is also one of the key factors that affects women's participation in leadership. And I hope with this I've made clear what the campaign is all about, and we can all toast to our launch later. Thank you so much. All right, now we're going to have our solidarity speeches from our consortium partners. So I'm going to start with Rural Young Women Support Network, followed by Girls Table Trust. So in the interest of time, could we just stick to like maybe 2 minutes now so we can get to the entertainment part? Anju. Let's give a round of applause, please.
Thank you. Hello. Hello. Thank you so much for coming to this launch of a great campaign. So I've got a very, very few words that I'm just going to say so that I can also give others the opportunity to say whatever they want to say. So I just want to say that, we usually hear people saying young people, they are the leaders of tomorrow. Young women, they are leaders of tomorrow. But I just want to challenge us to say young women, they're not only the leaders of tomorrow, but they are leaders of today. And they have the vision, the courage, and the power to transform their communities and the world. This has been, evidenced by the liberation struggle stories that we have had, the role that young women have played for us to have the freedom that we have. So I really believe that young women, they are the agents of development, and they are the voices of the future and the hope for humanity. So as Rural Young Women Support Network, we are proud to be part of this great campaign to support and empower young women in their leadership journey in rural communities. And with that, I would like to thank you all, and I would like to wish every consortium member all the best in this campaign. Thank you so much.
Good day, everyone. Salibonani, Maswera Say. My name is Begezela Mkoni, and I work for the Girls Table. The Girls Table works with young women in marginalized communities. So as we launch the hashtag ElectAYoungWoman project, we at the Girls Table would like to stand in solidarity with young women who are victims of political violence. It is deeply distressing to know that as young women, we are subject of violence because of our gender and our political beliefs. Many have been called derogatory names, Amaule, Iwule, to silence us as young women who want to participate in politics. Political violence and name-calling are some of the reasons young women are discouraged from actively participating in politics. These practices violate our human rights as young women and undermine democracy and social progress. We are happy that through this project, we will advocate for a more inclusive society and strengthen young women's voices in leadership and politics. We believe that by working together, we can create a more just and equitable society that empowers young women to reach their full potential. Hashtag ElectAYoungWoman. Hashtag Young Women Lead. Thank you.
Dedicated to the street, dedicated to their own. One God king from his sunshine, the peace upon the talk of all. That's it, yeah. See what's up, it's a government.
Good afternoon, everyone. I am Betutunga, the director of Itemba for Girls Trust, based in Manicaland, an organization that works to empower young girls in the rural areas to be what they are potentially supposed to be if the ground was leveled. For a country which is more than 40 years of democracy, I think we're not genuine in actually saying we want to empower women. We want to achieve gender equality in leadership. If we're still getting about 10% in national elections of women elected in parliament, then we are not serious. I just want to challenge mothers here, because I think it starts from home, how we were raised and how we are raising our young girls. We tend to want to raise them to be good wives. I think we need to stop from raising our young girls to being good wives. Let's raise them to be leaders of today and leaders of tomorrow. And let us fight for our children to be the leaders that we want them to be, because this world is open for them. So let's encourage them and support them. I want to applaud Walper for this program of fighting for the position of women in the society. I want to applaud them for actually giving us this platform to actually voice for the opportunities of these young women. And when we say elect a young woman, On their own, they can not do it. They need us. They need women. Women, they need men. They need everyone in the society to support them. And I can promise you that they are able. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm looking for a member of Bus Stop TV for their solidarity speech. Bus Stop? Derek, Lucky. Oh, there you are. Let's give them a round of applause, please.
Magadini munofara here ndanga ndisingade kuti nditore light langu yese kune kubva kumadzimai nhasi. Unfortunately vasikana vekubasa vane rimwe basa, asi tinosapota kuti kwira mukadzi kwira mukadzi kwira. Vakangokwira vari vega manje vanonetsa, saka tiripo tichisapota naye. Thank you so much.
So I believe all our partners have come up and they have given us solidarity speeches. Now, I would like for us to get solidarity speeches from the groups represented. Do we have a representative from Women with Disabilities? All right, can I please have one of you? Thank you so much. Can we give a round of applause, guys?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Charity Mugawa, and I'm from Signs of Hope, a disability group organization. And we are so happy to be part of this whole campaign, because as women with disabilities, we feel included. And Shokunza Kufara. So with that, Kwira Mukadzi Kwira. Thank you.
Thank you so much for that. Guys, the energy in the room is not making me happy. You know, for a campaign, Yema Youth, and this feel like I'm a vibe, I'm energy. I'm seeing young faces, but the energy in the room is not working for me, and did it? So at Walpe, we have a motto, Antika. We say, when she rises, we all rise, right? So I'm going to say, when she rises, and then we say we all rise with punch. Okay, guys, if you're thirsty, there's some drinks over there just close to the entrance. But Shimundipaika moto kane punch and did it. Are we ready? When she rises. Hi, guys, with energy. When she rises. When she rises. We all rise. Amen, Bazalwane. Thank you. All right. May I please call on stage Member of Parliament, Zimbabwe, Naledi Maunganidze. Is Naledi here? Is Naledi here? Is Naledi here? All right, while we wait for her, I'll then call on stage member of Zikosu, PG West. PG West. All right, then I'm going to have to call you, Tao. No, for ZANU-PF. Okay. All right, let's look for someone who's ready. From main opposition, can I have Mayor Chantal? Let's give her a round of applause, please.
Kwira mkadzi kwira. Kwira mkadzi kwira. As a representative from the main opposition, we are rallying behind the campaign, and I'm sure the Elect Young Woman has actually borrowed a leaf from us because we have already started on the program before they did. From looking at me, I'm actually a product of the Elect Young Women from the main opposition, and we have a several number of us who have been elected into leadership positions, and we have actually shown we are capable of taking this leadership roles, and also we are supporting this hashtag Elect Young Women. Thank you.
When she rises, with energy, guys. When she rises. All right, thank you for that. I'm now going to call upon the ZINASU Vice President.
Kwira mkadzi kwira. Kwira mkadzi kwira. Kwira mkadzi kwira. Taiko. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. All protocols observed. My name is Lillian Tinotenda Mwandavaka, and unfortunately I'm not the Vice President, but the Gender Secretary of ZINASU. And I would like to acknowledge the great work by Walpe and everyone placing effort in this great initiative. Young women deserve to lead, and the world requires fresh perspective, resilience, and the inclusive approach young women bring about. Hashtag let your lead. Hashtag young women lead. Thank you very much.
Gentle ladies and men, good afternoon. On behalf of the Honorable President of the Giant Students Union, Zikosu, I would love to share his solidarity message. Young women, you are brave, you are powerful, you are worth it all. Take up space, for without you, there is no us. Amandla to the young woman, Tatenda.
All right, I would like to call up on our male gender champions. May I please have Takudzwanga Dziwore.
Yes, of course. Thank you very much. I would want to take this opportunity to affirm my solidarity and also to appreciate the efforts that are being put through by WAUPE, such an impeccable agenda to make sure that we have a sustainable development and also to make sure that women are part of the national conversation and also the global conversation. Thank you very much.
Our next male gender champion, Taurai. Say that again. Let's give him a round of applause, please.
Thank you so much. We appreciate the concept that you are taking from ZANU-PF of electing young women. You know, ever since we became the government, we have been putting young women at the forefront of everything. You remember the likes of Comrade Joyce Mijuru becoming a minister at the age of 22. You remember the likes of Comrade Obam Chinguri becoming ministers at very young age. You also recall our recently appointed Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs, such a powerful post, Comrade Chikomo, the beautiful young lady from Masvingo. So I appreciate when civic society is working side to side with the government and the ruling party. Keep it up. Thank you so much.
All right, from the Parliament of Zimbabwe, I would like to call upon Chairperson from the Women's Caucus, Honorable Mbowa.
Hello, young girls. How are you, young girls? You are not happy. Why are you not happy? You know, as you have heard, I'm the chairperson of the Zimbabwe Women Parliamentary Caucus, and the caucus is above political grounds. Kana ndiri muno ndiri kuona vana veZimbabwe, vana vediki veZimbabwe, and as young women, muchida kubudirira, don't fight each other. Nothing is impossible, and I want you to know that whatever a man can do, a young woman can do it better. And nothing is impossible. Parliament, we have got young women parliamentarians here. Can you stand up, women only? Impomo delay Dichana 2 minutes.
ndoda kuti mupe vamwe encouragement handisi kuti mushaine nazvo vaone kuti nothing na let come, nothing is impossible. Pakati pavo, we have a 21-year-old girl. Apana chinoshamisa. Asi tinozvidhonzera tega pasi. If a young woman is promoted, hanzi haagoni kupromotwa asina kukwirwa. Let me say it bluntly. Munozvidzisire kwiridzira nai makageza munofanirwa kukwidzwa pazvigaro kwete kuti umwe wenyu akakwidzwa moto akwidzwa because no tinokwira sei. We will never reach there. As young women support each other, and at the end Walper's vision will be fulfilled. I thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for giving me this opportunity. As a gender champion, I advocate for equality and inclusivity for all genders. It's important to create a society where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, free from discrimination and bias. Gender equality benefits individuals, communities, and economies, and I'm committed to supporting and promoting it in all aspects of life. I would like to thank the chairperson for the Youth Caucus for what she has said. We should support each other as women. We mustn't look down upon each other. As women, when one of us rise, we are there to congratulate them. We are there to celebrate their wins. And I would like to thank our party, ZANU-PF, for as I'm standing here, I'm a testament of what His Excellency, Comrade E.D. Mnangagwa is saying. He's saying that we should promote women. We should promote the young people. And I'm also a beneficiary of the youth quota. So ZANU-PF has already implemented it, and we hope other parties are going to follow suit. And we also have young councillors. The introduction of women councillors was done also last year. Would like to thank the president because of that. And also we would like to thank the recent appointment of Honorable Sheila Chikomo. We have seen many people looking down upon her, but she deserves it. She's hardworking, and we should all emulate to get there. We should all support her. We mustn't talk bad about each other. People were saying, Akwirapa, nekudako kuti arara nedara. I mean, we are the future leaders. We are the future. Let's support each other. We have the fresh ideas. And it's no kurudzira umwe mukadzi, umwe musikana. Not kuti isusu will be in the forefront saying, nokuti akachuka, maybe akwira nokuti ane dharara kudanana. No, she deserves it. She's young. Saka ngati rambe tichisapotana. Let's keep encouraging us. Let's support our president because he wants to work with us as the young generation. We should applaud that the president has put all his trust in us because he knows we are the future. And one thing I just want to encourage each other that we should avoid taking drug abuse and harsh substance. Because President anogara vachitaura kuti nyika haitongwi nevanhu vakasika. Saka isusu ngatishandei sema leaders amangwana. I thank you.
Thank you so much for those words. Now I would like to call upon the leader of the ZANU-PF Youth Caucus, Mr. Sakupanya. Can we give him a round of applause, please?
Thank you so much. As a correction, I am the chairman of the Parliamentary Youth Caucus. which is in line with Mama Honorable Mbowa. I must say, as tall as I am and as big as I look, the previous speaker, Honorable Maunganidze, is my boss in the ZANU-PF party. That should show you that ability is not necessarily about your frame, but what's in your brain. And so when we say women empowerment, we're not saying that the female is weak. She's not. And she is just an example of some of the women that have been empowered to be in positions whereby it doesn't matter whether you're a man or a woman, it's what's in your brain that counts, that can develop the country. So as I stand before you, the Youth Caucus, we appreciate the laws that have encouraged young people to be part of the nation building. And I must also say that a lot of people, when they consider youth in parliament, they only consider the 10 youth seats. But I must emphasize that the laws allowed for there to be young women in parliament deliberately. I think we know that in parliament there are 60 seats under women's quota, but the provisions said that at least 6 of them should be under 35. And I'm very happy to see our honorable members of parliament who are under 35 who are here today, the 3 that are seated right there. So we very much stand as young people in parliament in solidarity with our sisters. We very much stand in solidarity with our mothers. For, as the former late president once said, none of us would not be here if not for a woman. I thank you.
Thank you so much for those words. I would like to call upon the main opposition spokesperson, Mr. Ostalo Siziba.
Thank you very much. I'll write on the already established protocols. We are here just to affirm our support, Master of Ceremony, to WAUPE and the civic society in its collective sense. Because for a society to function, you need people whose intention and objective are to uplift leaders, because the deficit in our body politic is the deficit. I was happy when you were defining the objectives of this campaign. I'm a product of the school of young intellectual thought leaders, and I'm happy that the campaign emphasizes on bringing young people, young ladies who are clear in terms of their ideological disposition, because a young leader, a young woman without ideological clarity, as Sankara would say, is a potential criminal. That's why you see them supporting the rampage that is happening to our country, because we have leaders, in our respectful view, that in my view are driven by basically 3 things. What characterizes the current political composition is 1, ineptness, ideological vacuousness, and extraction. That's why you see them celebrating. This one who's giving people cars and so forth. We must produce leaders in this country who are able to uplift the lives of ordinary people. So we celebrate WAUP, we celebrate civic society, we celebrate everyone in terms of contributing to grow and give life to these young leaders who are going to take over our leadership, not only tomorrow, but today. Because as I conclude, no one can be a hero in 2 struggles. I've always often said that young people, you must understand that our former liberators like Hepe Chitepo, Nigita Mangena, Josiah Makamba Tokonkara became heroes of the liberation struggle. You are the heroes of the transformation struggle, because those who liberated us cannot be heroes of tomorrow. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Gatungoitaika moto yeduka wana nditi. When she rises. All right. Do we have a representative from the Ministry of Women in the house? All right, I guess they're not here yet. I would like to call upon a representative from the Zimbabwe Gender Commission. Zimbabwe Gender Commission. Okay, sadly, it looks like they are not represented. In that case, we're going to move on with our program. We're now going to have our guest of honor, Ina K. Hengari, who's the youngest member of parliament in Namibia. May we please give her a round of applause as she comes up.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, dear young people of Zimbabwe. I bring you greetings from the land of the brave, otherwise known as Namibia. I am sure protocol has already been established. I do seek your indulgence to stand on that protocol that has already been established. Now, as many of you may have heard, we are in a period of mourning in my country. We have lost a sitting president. This is a first for us as a country. And so I would like to ask for us to just observe a moment of silence, please. Thank you very much. Now, as earlier on introduced, my name is Ina Hengari. I unfortunately have other names, very traditional names, that would be very hard for you to pronounce. Hence, I go by the name Ina. South Africa, it is an issue in so many countries. In fact, it is a pandemic on the African continent, where our society, our leaders and our parents do not teach young girls or young men to become leaders, but rather to become husbands and wives. It's a pandemic because where our society, where we exist, we're a society that is so patriarchal, so ageist, and sometimes very sexist. Young people are then forced to the margins. and therefore do not have space where they could express themselves, articulate on issues, develop ideological dexterity and positioning. So it becomes a collective agenda for young people across the board. And so I want to congratulate all the partners that are here today. The Rural Young Women Support Network, the Girls Table Trust, Itemba for Girls Trust, Bus Stop TV. I know that there was also a group that said they represent young people in rural areas, young people from marginalized communities and so forth. You see, the thing that most of us as policymakers and politicians, the mistake that we make is that we take a one-size-all approach, a one-size-fits-all approach when we talk about young people. And that's the unfortunate part. In my country, for instance, we have an unemployment rate of around 45%. Majority of that percentage, around 70% of young people in my country are unemployed. These are not young people who have not gone to school. These are young people who have a basic degree, undergraduate qualification, young people who have the expertise, who have the exposure and the experience. And so I stand here today, hopefully, not just as a representative of young women and as a beacon of hope for young women in my country and across the continent, but also to express my support for this very endearing initiative, an initiative which is timely, which is important for any country. And I hope to the directors and the team that you would continue to embrace both sides of the aisle, like I mentioned earlier on. It doesn't matter really whether somebody is in opposition or ruling party. I come from opposition in my country. And I wanted to share a short story of how I became member of parliament, and hopefully this story does not only inspire you. I'm not a motivational speaker, but I hope at the end of the day you will have an idea of how you want to position yourself as a young person in Zimbabwe in a manner that guarantees your voice is heard, in a manner that guarantees that young people are no longer underrepresented in spaces where decisions, crucial decisions are made about the welfare, about the economics of your country, about the future and direction of your country. And so, I was born in 1996. And so sometimes when you mention these things in Parliament, they say, what are you talking about? Sit down. In 1996, I was busy with probably my master's degree. I was born in 1996 in a rural area, and that is why I truly, truly applaud the initiative by the rural group, because if only I had platforms like that as a young woman from a rural area where I could harness my skill, not just of public speaking, but also harness my knowledge of what was happening in my country, the issues that fellow young people are faced with. I think I would not just be here alone, but I would have brought 10 young girls from my village as well into parliament, into crucial spaces of decision making. And so when I was born, I moved on to my primary schooling. That is where I developed my skills for debate, an interest in national talks or national dialogue. Further moved on to my secondary. Funny enough, I wasn't really involved in debates at my secondary level. I took a different turn. I had been involved in sports. And then later on in university, I fell in love with the art of student politics. And I think we must encourage young girls to begin to take up space from an early stage, so that, you know, it doesn't seem as though they are just being wheelbarrowed into spaces, but rather that they're able to grow from phase to phase, and so that when they finally have to face a Goliath, they have the skill, they have the exposure, but most importantly, they're able to stand their ground, and they have ideological clarity in what must be done, what is the direction that we must take, not just as a country, but also as a community. So I went to university, and through university, I contested for a number of positions. I lost a number of times also. I didn't win the first time I contested for a position. I lost. The first contestation was for Secretary General of the Student Representative Council at the University of Namibia. I lost against a peer of mine who now serves as a Deputy Minister of Information Technology and Communication, the Honorable Emma Theopheles, who is also my age mate, So both her and I are 28 years old. And I must also make a correction. The youngest member of parliament in Namibia is 21. And it's not just one person, there are two. There's a female and a male. There are about 3 of us who are 28 this year. So we have a relatively young parliament. But I wanted to talk about, more importantly, how we use the space once we have now earned a position, earned an office in a crucial decision-making space. What is it that we do, and how many of us come into politics, take up leadership positions, and do something with it? And so a few years ago, the Interparliamentary Union conducted a survey to find out that beyond advocating for gender equality, what is it really that we must add so that these individuals are just not numbers, do not just represent a quota, do not just serve to ensure that we have ticked a box, but rather that we have women in the spaces, and because we have women in the spaces, issues relating to gender, issues relating to sexual and health, reproductive topics and so forth, actually make it to the fore. And so it was interesting that what the study had found, whereas the parliament had 43% of women, like mine in Namibia, 43% of women represented in parliament, only 2% or 5% spoke not just on gender issues, spoke on other issues such as economics and so forth and so forth. And so it sparked a serious debate in the country that how is it possible that we have young people, that we have women beyond that in these spaces, but these issues do not come to the fore. And this is Southern African Development Community, where basically you have gender-based violence issues, you have trafficking of children, you have child marriages and so forth. And so some of these issues were not coming to the fore, and if ever they made it to the fore, they were brought by a man or a male MP in parliament. So what am I saying really in essence? What I'm saying is, just as both the opposition and ruling party are important in pushing the agenda of young female representatives, right? So is the men also, or so are the men in pushing the agenda for women representation. And beyond that, I think it's also crucial that we advance and advocate for gender equity. We must try and encourage and create spaces where young women are armored. And by armored, I mean we afford them the spaces to intellectually, or to have them intellectually trained. We afford them the spaces where they are able to be exposed to various experiences of the world. You know, there's one thing that I've also realized brings and makes it easy for a young parliamentarian, and that is solidarity. And I think beyond your country's politics, I hope that as a young person, you know what is happening in Senegal. You know what is happening in Cameroon. You know what is happening in the DRC Congo. Because it is so important, and because it's a global village, for as long as we just encourage women to talk about menstrual challenges, we just encourage young women to talk about women empowerment and so forth, we are doing a grave injustice to the women of today. What do you have to say as a young woman about your economy? What do you think are some of the alternative ways to fix the economy of Zimbabwe as a young woman who's interested in taking up space? What is your take on international relations and international diplomacy? What is it that guides your ideological positioning? What are the principles and values that you cannot compromise on? What are the things really that you think are fundamental to the very foundation of building a united Zimbabwe? And for this reason, this is why I say it is important that we encourage young women not just to talk about gender issues, women issues. We must arm our women with financial expertise. We must arm our women with diplomatic exposure. Because for as long as you live in this isolation, you would never believe that Zimbabwe can be a better place. You would never believe that. You would never believe that there's a better way of dealing with poverty, dealing with inequality, dealing with the unequal distribution of resources, dealing with the politics of the day. And so I encourage all of you here, both young, old, male and female, that please come together, find a way to come together. If it's in the interest of the ordinary Zimbabwean, there must be a point where you meet, all of you, where you can collectively pursue an agenda that will benefit not just the ruling party, not just the opposition, but the ordinary Zimbabwean. And I preach this because this is my politics. I believe that for as long as we encourage political linings and political affiliation, especially when you are faced with a crisis of underrepresentativeness, you will never get anywhere. And so it is really important that you hold each other by the hands. Meet somewhere, colleagues. Find a place of consensus. It is important, especially as young people. And I say this because in my country, one of the things that happens very regularly is that politicians will come to parliament and they will argue and they will throw punches and they will throw insults. And then over the weekend, you see them golfing together. And over the weekend, you see their kids marrying each other. And so be also cautious of some of the struggles and some of the fights that you take on as young people, especially as young women. You know, they say that women don't support each other. I don't believe that. Men use women to split. Men use women to fight each other. And for as long as women do not become aware and are not awake to this truth, we will always be here. We can't support each other. Women are this, women are that. Now, there's an important experience that I want to share with you that perhaps is also very important in sharing. Because my parliament is quite vibrant, relatively young, we have about 43% female representation in my parliament. The rest are men, mostly voted by rural voters. And so it's also important that we go back home, talk about women representation in offices, talk about how it's possible that there was one day there was a Fadzai Mahere in parliament, there was a Joanna Mamombe in parliament. We talk about these young women who are doing amazing things. And I'm not just talking about, you know, from the opposition. I'm sure there are also young women. I know that Barbara is also a minister of tourism, no? So I do know quite a few women who are doing things, are shaking things up. But these are the success stories that we must be able to tell in our rural setups. Because for as long as our grandmothers and our grandparents believe that women can be in positions, we will continue giving birth to wives and not leaders. We will continue giving birth to girlfriends and not economists or ministers of finance or prime ministers. And so my message really to you is it is possible. And I'm really, really privileged to be here, to have been invited to your beautiful country. You guys have such a beautiful country. I'll make it a point to visit again soon. Hopefully this time to Bulawayo with a few friends of mine that will make sure my finances are taken care of as well. But thank you very much. And I think each of you must really applaud wholeheartedly this initiative that aims to not just empower women, but aims to create a safe space where they are able to be capacitated, armored with the expertise, armored with the exposure, armored with the skill to survive not just the politics, but the general environment in your country. So once again, thank you very much and congratulations, fellow Africans, fellow Zimbabweans. I'm an African child, so when I'm here, I also feel at home. Also, finally, colleagues, as I go back to the message of unity, there's something that I want to leave you with. And that is, no person must be left out. No person must be jailed. No person must be denied opportunities. No person must suffer because of political differences. We are one. We are African. And if you are Zimbabwean, you are all Zimbabwean. So congratulations. And I think Jesse is about to direct where I go from here. Thank you very much. You want to do it? I don't know the way I can do it.
All right, may you please give her one round of applause again? All right, I believe that we have champagne bottles that have been delivered to our tables. May we all kindly get up as this honorable gentleman here opens this bottle for us, and then we can toast the official launch of our campaign. Dokumbiro chisimuke, papakamani. It's hot. Can I sing it? When she rises? Yeah. When she rises, when she rises, we all rise. When she rises, when she rises, I can't hear you. When she rises, we all rise. Thank you very much. Please grab a glass. We're about to toast. Yes, yes. So after the toast, we say hashtag elect a young woman, right? All right. So 5, 4, 3. Woo! Hashtag. Hashtag. So with this, I officially launch the campaign. Thank you very much. Welcome to the year of the hashtag ElectAYoungWoman campaign. Thank you so much, everyone. Earlier on, and I failed to get anyone who could answer me. There was a beautiful young lady somewhere to the left. Where is she? You answered my question. Please come and get your prize. So this is part of our IEC materials. Amuchange Muchiona. It's a branded umbrella with the logos of all the consortium partners. There you go. You can show it off if you want to. Let's give a round of applause, guys. All right, so now we're going to get a vote of thanks and closing remarks from Maria Malo Malo, the Walpe Board Chairperson. Let's give a round of applause while she comes on stage.
Good afternoon. You guys seem so tired. Good afternoon. I know we are waiting for the entertainment. I hope it's Poptane because I like Poptane. And I know we want to drink up all the champagne, so I'm just going to be quick. I think most of us were sad when we heard that 2% of positions are held by young women, right? Who didn't get sad? Show me. Who didn't get sad? We all did. Because it's very unfortunate that young women occupy a big part of our society, and yet they are not at the table. So WALP is here to make sure that they are at the table. And I think this year and the years to follow will be saying, elect a young woman. So just to close, I wanted to say thank you to everyone who's here. I know it's not easy coming all the way to, this is like the other side of Harare for some people, right? And it's not easy coming this way, but you did it for us. So thank you so much to everyone for coming. Particularly, I wanted to thank the Parliament. I see there are beautiful parliamentarians here, handsome parliamentarians. And thank you so much for coming to this event. The Ministry of Women's Affairs, unfortunately, I didn't see them, but if they are here, thank you. The Gender Commission, the political parties. It was so refreshing to see how we still have that vibrancy, that campaign mode. It was very good. I enjoyed it. Thank you so much for coming. Student leaders, MPs, civil society, Itemba for Girls Trust, Girls Table Trust, Rural Young Women Support Network, Bus Stop TV. Thank you so much. I also want to thank WALPE staff for this tremendous job. It's not easy putting all this together. So let's clap for them, please. Thank you so much, Stabile, for the wonderful leadership that you continue showing. Thank you, particularly Jesse and Wendy, for the work that you did behind the scenes. Thank you, our lovely guest of honor, Honorable Ina. I'm inspired. As you were speaking, I thought of my daughter who's 12, and I imagined her speaking in front of everyone. I think from today I'll train her to be a politician. And also, last but not least, our funding partners, the Open Society Foundation, for giving us the resources to make a difference in Zimbabwe, right? And just as parting words, as I go away and wait for Poptain, I just wanted to leave you with these words that were said by Dolores Huerta. She's an American labor activist. And she said, we do need women in civic life. We do need women to run for office, to be in the political office. We need a feminist to be at the table when decisions are being made, so that the right decisions will be made. So this is talking more about the quality and not just the numbers. And as Wapi, we've said, we want numbers and quality, and not just numbers. So we need our feminist leaders in parliament making decisions and ensuring that women are put at the forefront of development. So thank you everyone for coming, and I hope you enjoy this evening.
That was our board chairperson, Maria Malo Malo. Thank you so much for those kind words. So just before we get into Chipo's performance, can I please have our MPs in the House, representatives from the various organizations, our representatives from Young Women Leaders, ZGC, SRC, and from political parties, may we please just get a group photo together before we get into Chipo's performance? And then just after that, may we please make our way to the back of the room where we have our buffet in an orderly fashion. Zimbabwe Gender Commission, Zimbabwean Parliament, ZANU-PF, Main Opposition, SRC, Young Women Leaders, Women with Disabilities. Could we please come on stage so that we can get a group photo behind the banner, preferably? Representatives actually. Helen, camera people, photo op. Guys, because so we can get some. Maybe my young women, come guys, you can sorry ladies, you go first so that you close the banner because Marabu get us today. Go for it. All right, thank you so much for the photo op. May we please kindly make our way to the buffet table, table by table. So I'm just going to start with this table over here. Guys, if you could go to the buffet table, when you're done, then we can have this table, number 3, number 4, 5, Tishidaro, Anditi. Oh, sorry, guys. Hi, attention, hello. Guys, we have a photo booth outside, Anditi. Let's make the most use of it. Yaga gara panze, let's get our pictures, Anditi.